3, 2, 1, and it's in. We're live.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, how's it going today?
It's good, dude. It's been a long week. I've had I think this is the 4th day of the week. I think I've done now will be 4 podcasts this week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
it's insane, right? But that's a good thing. I mean, it's busy, and you know, so 3 were mine and 1 was somebody else's, and I may do somebody else's again tomorrow. And
Oh my God.
yeah. So
Just putting out content just left and right now.
I need a nap.
Yeah, weekend. That's your break. Don't worry.
Yes, yeah. So tons of stuff going on, but I'm going to hit you with some of this stuff early. First, I want to make fun of the Miss America pageant. I know you saw that, right? They're eliminating the bikini division.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I saw that.
whatever. Like literally, I read that, I shared it, and I had in the first like 30 minutes some kind of, I mean, boatloads of comments and people doing stuff and the whole thing making. Some people were like, "Wait, is it still on?"
Yeah.
Like, wait, is that the one?
Exactly.
Is that the one Trump owns? Is that the? I honestly, I don't know. I really don't know like a lot of those things because I don't follow it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's a beauty pageant, and effectively, tell me if I'm right. They have like, do they have the casual wear? They have the evening gown. Is a big deal.
Yeah.
The swimsuit round
Yeah.
is a big deal. The one where they talk.
Yeah. So it's like they'll
give
give
some
you
insight.
like a topic that's important to them, or pick a topic and form an opinion on it.
Does that one have a talent round? One of them has a talent round,
I think they do have
right?
a talent round. Yeah.
One of them does. But anyway, so I'm like, the bikini round is so important. Like, what the heck, dude? Like, why are they doing this?
That's.
It's, like, you don't want to, like.
I mean,
and I'll be absolutely honest with you. The body types that are in those pageants are absolutely not my body type.
Yeah.
As far as what I look for, and it's just not. And I'm like, right, and But I get it. It's a beauty pageant. It's like, what the hell are these people doing?
Yeah.
And so they're removing that round, and people are just kind of like, wait, what? What the heck's going on? Yeah, I think we've got a bad feed here too, as I'm looking at some of this stuff.
Hello.
Well, no, I mean it's going. It's so. But this is one of the things that. So another little deal, which is why we may be having bad feed. Xfinity sends me this letter 4 days ago, or 3 days ago, something like that. That says something we found something wrong with your modem. I guess there's some signal or something with our modem. We have shipped you a new one, and if you don't install it by yesterday, right? So there was like I didn't receive it. They just said they shipped it. And if we didn't install it by yesterday, there'd be some interruption in our service.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm like, I don't have the modem, man.
Yeah.
Right? So we get on the phone. We try to get in touch with Comcast and Xfinity, and to fix this, we're like, hey, cool. I'm all good with it, but we haven't received a modem.
Yeah.
We've got tracking for the modem, but it's not going to be here by your defined
your
end
day,
date.
whatever it is.
And then they don't really answer anything, and they try to sell us packages.
Oh, really?
And get us into different contracts and get us into all this other shit. I'm like, no. And Steph's on the phone with him too, and like, no, I don't want our shit to go away because the modem you're sending us isn't like, what the hell's going on, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I get the modem yesterday evening. So it was after everything was done, and I'm switching. I'm doing it right. It says it works fine, right? I don't know, all this other kind of crap. But then the first time I'm actually using it, I'm getting all these errors on this thing.
Well, maybe it's they wanted this to mess up. So like your old modem was actually really good,
and they want this one to screw up.
Yeah, and so they planned obsolescence this one.
Probably.
So you can have this one, and it's going to be good for like a year, and then you're going to have to bullshit and upgrade.
That's very likely.
So, sweet. Like, welcome to
crap. Well, I'm like,
this is how
So we'll see what happens. And I did run tests. Ran speed tests and things like that. And checked it, and everything appeared fine on the speed tests.
Yeah.
And I don't use theirs.
Yeah.
Because that seems like if you use Xfinity speed test, of course it's going to be fast.
Yeah. Oh, this is like, great.
No.
Wow.
Use the third party. And then if you call Xfinity, they're like, no, because the third party has all these other attachments and other things to it, so it's not really giving you the true speed.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it is giving me the true speed.
Yeah, I'm like, get out
without
of
this
here.
biased nonsense.
Okay, so get this. I have this idea. So, what do you have?
Okay, just reading up on this pageant. We no longer judge our candidates on their outward physical appearance. So we're stepping away from physical appearance of Miss America, and I'm moving into
some other kind of BS.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get it, and that was one of the reasons I never watched pageants prior than bodybuilding, because that just seems objectifying. But I mean, I guess it's the same concept as bodybuilding. If you want to go up there and perform the way you want to,
yeah,
okay, do it. I don't care.
Well,
I'd leave it up to the contestants, right? Much rather. So,
I sent assistance to my tech person to see if they could figure out what the fuck's going on.
Help me.
Yeah, but no, we're not going to judge their outward appearance. What the hell is a beauty pageant?
Yeah, it's the inner beauty.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
okay,
beauty,
well,
my ass, But
what do we call that? We call that their grades, right?
Yeah.
That's the other pageant. So,
like, whatever. You got spelling bee.
Yeah.
If you want to do that.
What was your GPA? You win. Congratulations.
We have those
Yeah.
already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I was like,
Okay.
so I have this idea of a competition. Okay, so
Mhm.
follow me on this. Still in the brainstorming method, although I have boatloads of notes
Okay.
to do this. Okay, so I have effectively if anybody wants to try to steal it, really, of course they could, because the way law is,
Yeah.
how that kind of bullshit is. But really, they can't because it's already been to some attorneys and
Yeah.
all the appropriate steps have been taken
Okay.
to protect me in this. But the idea is this. I'm going to tell you how it came about first.
Okay. This is
I
good.
like strongman,
Yes.
right? There's a lot of aspects of strongman that I like. There's a lot of aspects of powerlifting or Olympic lifting that I like.
Yeah.
There's components of CrossFit competitions that I like.
Yeah.
There's some things in Spartan races and things of that nature that I enjoy. And I'm like, wow, I like those things.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And CrossFit, as a blanket statement, really was designed for athletes that didn't necessarily have a home
Mhm.
to be able to push themselves in what was often termed as functional movements.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's functional movements, right?
As it started. Yeah.
Yes. So this idea of mine actually started probably about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. And to say it's still in the brainstorming mode is actually going to give people the idea of how long it takes to
Yeah.
fully
exactly.
develop a concept of something. But the whole idea was that what reignited a little fuel to this is over the last weekend I was doing some cardio, watching TV, and the CrossFit games were being shown.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they're live. I have no idea. It was 2018, so it had to be relatively current. Okay, they're doing the things that kipping pull-ups,
Mm-hmm.
some carries of certain things, alternating pistol squats
Yeah.
for X number of repetitions before they could advance, handstand walks up and down a ramp, and doing some other things,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Power cleans and things of that nature, right? So they were going through a whole mill of things, and that's not necessarily the order, but they were doing this, and I'm like, none of that really is functional.
Which is true. I mean,
and this is when I say functional. When in any circumstance are you going to be required to walk on your hands up and down a very level balanced slope?
when in any situation you'd be required to walk on your hands, period.
Thank
You're
you.
right. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Now, there could be situations that you require a lot of upper body strength.
Yes.
Oh, the other
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was the American Ninja Warrior. There's components of that I like as well.
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that was one that I had left out. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, American Ninja Warrior is great, but it's really all about hand strength.
Yes. That's the big one.
Right.
Because you'll see all the climbers, specifically most of the boulderers. So
Yes.
bouldering is like a high strength output.
Yeah.
Form of climbing. They usually do really well.
Exactly.
Just because they can grip whatever it is.
They've been doing that for years and years. They've
Yeah.
developed that specific strength for that.
Yeah,
deal,
exactly. Right? And so they're oftentimes more potentially successful than the guys who just train for American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
So it's because more functional, I guess.
So most of the time, now there's been some other athletes that have made it a little bit of a distance, but really they're not any threat to win the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be real with it.
Yeah.
It's about climbers, right?
Yeah.
Strongman is about mildly overweight, just really freaking
Love you guys.
just strong people. Well, I mean, that's
Just
part of it.
physically massive people that can move a lot of weight.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's been a couple people with relatively thin or moderate waists,
Mhm.
and they're okay, but they don't do it, man. You've got to have the weight to counter things and to do stuff. And
Yeah,
you've got
and
to be a huge
exactly.
man. You know, does it make sense? Powerlifting's cool, but it's broken into so many weight classes and divisions.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Olympic lifting, the same thing. There's
Yeah.
so many weight classes and so many things, and I'm just like, it gets tiring,
Yeah.
right? CrossFit, for me, I don't want anybody to get pissed at me, is very cultish. Okay. Does that make sense? So, like, for me, I'm like, you know, I'm not buying into the green soup, man.
Exactly.
I don't want it.
That's exactly right.
So I'm like, okay, let's get some things that are truly functional.
Yeah.
And let's get this stuff in there. So what are things that would be accomplished in real world or real life and so that? So yes, carrying things in various forms.
Yeah.
So things like the fireman's carry and you know, over the shoulder carry.
Yeah.
And
farmer's walk or
farmer's walk. Yeah, I mean, you know, farmer's carry, farmer's walk, like all of these things, like all of those type of carrying movements
Mhm.
are functional.
Yeah.
Because it's crap you're gonna have to do. Drags,
Yeah.
very functional. Pulling and pushing drags.
Towing, yeah.
Towing from, you know, from pulling forward or put, you know, depending on your body position or what you're doing or the leverage
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
you're dealing with. Then obviously in the same capacity, not pulling things, but actually like shoving things.
Yeah.
Moving rocks, moving boulders, shoving a car, you know, those types of things. People are like, oh, pushing a car stupid. I'm like, do you ever run out of gas?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And somewhere in
love it,
Texas,
yeah.
you're like, hey, that's conditioning, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
But take that, you know, chopping, that's like sledgehammers and certain lumberjack type things are functional.
Oh, have you seen those games?
Dude, those are
Those are
crazy.
so cool.
And even the Highland games.
Yeah.
Some of those are some of those are awesome.
Yeah.
Some of them have no functionality whatsoever.
Yeah.
So my idea is to get series of these truly functional movements that will test hand strength, that will test you know, your cardio, will test your strength and
mental capacity.
mental capacity. And,
dexterity and
yeah, exactly. So things that you're actually going to have to accomplish.
Yeah.
And you could even slide things in there like some of the more trendy, gimmicky, like axe throws, knife throws, archery, stuff that you're like, you know what? If the friggin' apocalypse hit,
Yeah.
what are you going to have to do on a pretty quick basis to be able to live? Right? So barring, we're going to remove the hunting aspect of it. We're not going to actually go chase and kill shit on TV. Although that may wind up being a cool deal. Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, let's not get into that one yet.
yeah, something like, but the idea is to get, you know, whatever, 30, 40, 50 different movements and then and have a competition. Still have it scored very similar to how strongman is scored.
Yeah. Okay.
You get X number of points for winning that round.
Yeah,
or
whatever the
that
event
movement
was,
or that
yeah.
event, and yeah, so you
Okay.
get there. And then my idea is to break it up into seasons.
Okay.
So 4 seasons, right? 4 seasons, like actual seasons.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Because some things need to be indoor, some are outdoor, some
Yeah.
of this. And this people will accumulate points over the year. And so there will be a season winner. And then at the end, right? So every season is going to be a
Yeah.
week or two short. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
And then at the very end, all the season winners come together for the mega championship. Following me?
That sounds great. Yeah.
So I'm bored the shit out of some people, but
Yeah,
this is my idea.
exactly.
So there, I know people are about equality. I'm about equality, but fuck that. There will be a men's division and a women's division.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want men and women competing against each other on this thing.
Yeah.
Call me
Whatever.
gender bias or I'm a gender hater or whatever the fuck. But anyway,
Unbelievable.
right? You know,
Yeah.
crazy me. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm thinking to keep it very simple, which some people love and some people hate,
Mhm.
is there's only 2 weight divisions in each one. So for the men, somewhere around 185, 190 pounds will be the cut, the
Okay.
over under cut. If you're under, you're in that division, the under 185 division. I'm just saying 185.
I see what you're saying.
And then for women, 125, 130 maybe. You know, I'm actually pulling a lot of data on that on actual weights of female athletes and men athletes,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to make that very much in the middle.
Yeah.
And I know people that are on the line will play a weight game, trying to cut to be there and to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
stuff for
exactly.
the weights. But I'm almost thinking like throughout the season, you have to weigh before each deal.
Yeah, each competition.
So
which would
before
make
each
sense.
event, you stand on a scale, which means you can't if the cutoff is 185, you can't be 195 and diet down. Make that one. You made, okay. I'm 184.9, and then you load back up, and really you're 195, 200 for the whole competition. Like, I don't want that.
Which is true, yeah.
So I'm looking at trying to put fail safes in there so people would have to weigh periodically through the series of events because it's a season.
Yeah.
So it's not like one day.
Yeah.
So you got either heats, waves, different things going through on the deal. Yeah. So it's a season.
So when you're saying a season, it would be like a week long or 2 weeks long or whatever of just competitive games, and then.
Well, we have 4 seasons, which are 3 months each.
Yeah.
Right. Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense? So if you take that, you've got your 12 weeks, right?
I see what you're saying.
I'm saying really it would probably be like 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And every week. Now, the same person wouldn't go every week. There would be waves.
Okay.
But they would go like every other week. And points would accumulate. So you would be going against different people each week. And your points would accumulate. And then it would be aired live.
Mm-hmm.
So it would give us the opportunity to give people consistent competitions in different ways and things to cheer for. And the athletes to get behind and things of that nature. So
okay. Okay, so this is a year round.
Yes.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. So now, but the people who compete in the first one,
yeah,
right, in the first season, so winter season, January, right? I'll just call it winter. You call it spring season, whatever you call it. But the first season, they're not going to compete again. The only ones that will compete again are the winners. They're going to compete again at the end of the year against the winners of second season, third season, fourth season.
What if they want to compete in the other games? Like if I was a winter season and I wanted to go and compete in spring and...
I think, because that was asked to me a couple days ago, I had a meeting with somebody and they asked me that. And I was like, the only ones that would be eligible would be ones that lost. If you win, you cannot compete in another game. You're just taking somebody else's spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And so now it's just waters it down. Because, and then...
Okay, so you got 4 shots to get to the...
Yeah, to the championship. And that would probably be just a 2-day deal.
Yeah.
Just do what we could to destroy him.
Yeah, exactly.
For all intents and purposes.
Because then that would be what? Okay. No, I like that.
Yeah.
And so then the question is, what are the events?
Oh, I've got a laundry list of different events.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, because the whole idea is, and I have some that are absolutely, I made a list of ones that are absolutely not functional.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A standard bench press is not functional in regards of being a functional movement. It's not. People are like, oh, but it's great. It's a good foundational movement. It's good base strength.
Well, then train with it.
Foundational movement? Yes.
Yeah.
Functional movement? No.
That's right, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a very different deal. And so I have a list that are absolutely not, a list that are kind of I'm on the fence about, and a list that are absolutely functional.
Now, where have you placed deadlift?
Well, deadlift is there. No, but deadlift is there. And I actually have that in the middle because it's got to be modified such that it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because with a bar, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I would want there to be grips.
Yeah.
Some things there's going to have to be some slight modifications to because you want uniformity and consistency.
Yeah.
So if people are doing a boulder carry, like an Atlas stone, I don't want. A boulder carry, yes, I love it. But they got to be consistent. So they're going to be molded, but they'll be molded like a boulder. They're not going to be perfectly spherical
like a
and things.
sphere
Yeah,
stone.
so they won't be like the Atlas stone. They're going to be more like a stone that's just out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
And things like the farmer's walk and stuff like that, you're going to need handles. So some things will be more traditional like that, but it makes sense because farmers do that shit.
Yeah.
Baling hay and carrying lumber and carrying this and that. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's functional movements, some that are come on the fence about and some that are absolutely not. And there may be situations to where we have to dip heavy into that middle section.
Yeah.
Because we need to get involved in developing it.
Yeah.
Not to have events or movements that repeat the primary muscles being used. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is horrible in Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
They're like, hang onto this ledge for 3 hours, then hold onto this thing for another hour, then hold onto this one, but we'll make it wet, and then grab this one so you've got to swing and catch and grab another thing. And you're like, that's just silly.
Yeah.
It's just silly. Like there's no need for that.
Which is true. But that's a lot of what rock climbing is when you get to it. It's just, hold on to this thing for 1,000 feet.
Right. But in climbing, you can anchor in and you can do stuff. You kind of, it's not
Which is true. So then the question is climbing in the events?
Partially.
Okay.
And cool. And I'm going to wrongfully use the term boulder.
Yeah.
Like boulder ring, because I want people to traverse and conquer something. But I'm sheer cliff lines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Don't make a lot of sense.
Really make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, that would be functional.
Yeah.
But it's almost specialized functional.
Yeah.
So you're like, if I'm stuck out in an apocalypse and we're doing stuff and there's a sheer cliff that's got to be climbed, you're climbing it.
Yeah,
because you're built for it. Like, why am I going to climb it?
Exactly.
I'm going to go build a fucking shelter over here while you're climbing up there to get whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's one of those divvy to where
I'll just hike up the tree and be all right.
Yeah.
Fuck this cliff,
dude. I'll make a cot in a tree. I'm good.
Yeah.
So it's so there's some things that are kind of like that. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking at doing. I'm trying to hit it hard and then start promoting it maybe in a month and try to get something started maybe by next January.
So what's going to end up happening is you're going to get quite literally just farmers. Just
I want
we're going to get the most redneck folks out here.
Right. Well, so let's do this. CrossFitters, some CrossFitters are going to hate the shit out of me right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
watch this.
Whatever, right? CrossFit, training in CrossFit is dangerous.
Yes.
If you train in CrossFit like you compete, that's dangerous.
Yes.
There is a risk-reward thing, and some people want that risk, and I respect that. I'm all, if that's what you want, great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't. And through BSN and other stuff, we've sponsored the best of these CrossFitters.
Mm-hmm.
They very rarely train in CrossFit throughout the year.
Really?
Right. And that blows people's brains away. They're like, but I saw a video. You saw a promotional item.
That's right, yeah.
You didn't see their actual training. And they will occasionally. But you cannot train like you compete in CrossFit and expect to have that level of performance.
Yeah.
Unless you're on shitloads of drugs, which some of them are. I watched the thing the other weekend. Like, come on.
Oh,
mother.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been around a little while. Like, don't say, but they're clean. Shut your ass. Some are. Some are.
Some are, yeah.
But there's a good number that are,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that. So the idea is a lot of the CrossFitters will have something to do that isn't quite high risk.
Yeah.
Still a high level competition, still going to push you to your limits, but in a very different way. I'm not going to say a safer way.
Yeah.
But it's going to invoke more appropriate training, more balanced training.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be how many times can I hang clean 225. I did 12 last time. If I don't do 15 today, I've got to stop. And you're getting dangerous with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not everybody, blanket statements. You know what I'm saying? I've witnessed plenty with my eyes, and I've seen plenty of videos.
Yeah.
People get a little dangerous because they're worried about a number.
Yeah.
As opposed to the deal in their training, and we want to shift that.
And that's one of the bits in CrossFit that I was always worried about, because that's a thing in bodybuilding that you constantly talk about is don't ever sacrifice form for weight or for reps.
Right.
And then when CrossFit got big, I sat there and it's like, well, this is exactly what I was told not to do.
Yes. It's all about
all right, let's
get
rock and roll.
The weight or the bar from point A to point B 15 times, period. I don't care how.
Yeah, or in 45 seconds or whatever it is, or just
to
get
where,
this weight over there.
Yeah.
Who's the fastest?
And which is silly.
So that's going to be kind of a trick. And then how would people be able to consistently train for that? Because I don't know if gyms... I can barely find gyms that can support any form of strongman training.
Okay, so that's a little bit of a cat out of the bag situation for me.
Okay.
Because my wife and I had built Greater Than.
Yeah.
Which was a facility built for things like this.
Whoops, sorry.
No, we did.
Yeah, okay, saying, yeah.
That was kind of the idea.
I see where you're going with it, though.
And one of the things that a good number of people that went there loved about it is it was always clean, it was always organized, and they could train like a fucking monster out of their mind.
Yeah.
Right? I was going to say animal, but then they'd say MS-13, and then they'd have to back out of it. So to plug
don't want to be put in that category.
But they could train out of their minds. I had guys come in and they're like, I want to train with, like, I'm really thinking about strongman, and I don't know, like, your Atlas stones, and I'm like, the ones over there?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh shit.
you know, and whatever, you know, but basically, so you go through all the lips like what, and it was just we had everything for that,
Yeah.
and the different tires and the different drags and different sleds and different thick ropes and the, 200-pound rope this and there, and firemen carry
boxing
all,
ring.
we had the boxing ring and
Olympic platforms.
Yep.
Because I remember walking in and saying,
Yeah.
"This is the best place."
we had the Olympic platforms.
Yeah.
The silly things we had the deadlift jacks.
Yeah.
Like, why don't places have those?
I still use those.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they're not expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really not expensive. Like, just, holy crap. But anyway,
Okay.
like, we had all those things. We had the big monkey bar stuff, and we had the elevated wings for the monkey bars.
Yeah.
We had, everything. Suspension training, the bumper plates, the Olympic lifted, everything, right?
Huh.
And so there are actually a decent number of facilities around town. This is the cat out of the bag part. There's a good number of facilities around Houston and surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Because obviously we'll start this local.
Yeah.
That have this same capability.
Yeah.
But they're niche gyms.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
box
yeah.
gyms. So if you go to Dynamic and 24 and Lifetime and LA and whatever else, Planet Fit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
All that.
I was just, Fitness Connect. I'm trying to say all of them so nobody gets mad at me.
Yeah.
I can't remember all of them. But if you go to the box gyms, more often than not, you're not going to have this opportunity.
Yeah. No.
Does that make sense? And so there's a guy that my wife and I have known, Lane Chess, who originally just owned was one of the owners of Studio in the Heights, and then he just opened his Edo Fitness, so East Downtown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fitness. I'm gonna say 3 weeks ago, very recently that one opened.
Okay.
And he's one of the guys I'm talking to about this because both his facilities could support it.
Yeah.
It's the right mindset. It's a niche gym. It's a local gym. There's a bunch of these around town. I'm just using him because it's a good example.
Yeah,
and we've
yeah,
known
yeah.
him for 12 years, roughly. I'm throwing a number out there, but give or take a little bit. We've known him over a decade.
Okay.
And good guy, and he's into it, and he's into that style of fitness, and he's got his kind of Facet 7 program that he shared with me that I've helped tweak towards that training philosophy fits something like this. Being functional and being strong and being balanced and being what a lot of people would say is a truly balanced or truly functional athlete.
Yeah.
That's
so
what he
strength
drives.
and agility.
Yes. And that's through nutrition, through training, through periodization, through all these proper things. And so part of it is I was just like, Lane, like, dude, your two facilities could support, like, dude, it's your deal.
Yeah.
Like, let me put this together. If you want it, it's kind of, it's still mine, but I mean, like, it's at your facilities exclusively.
Yeah.
Get it through the first year, let it grow, and let's just see what happens.
I see what you're saying.
But
like
from
that.
a training aspect, because Christian's at where Built Greater was.
Yeah, yeah.
And he still has a lot of that same equipment.
Yeah.
Very little was put out.
Yeah.
So that training can still happen there. And then there's multiple places just in the Sugar Land, Stafford, Missouri City area. There's probably 5-6 gyms that you could do that. You could train that way. But they're just not box gyms. So what am I doing? I'm trying to promote those. Because the box gyms, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I love Lifetime because of with the kid stuff and activities and things of that nature. But as far as me working out, I tolerate it.
Yeah.
I tolerate it.
And I get that because I have to sit there and...
I'm doing elevated stiff legs with 3 plates for a lot of reps, and people are looking at me funny.
Yeah.
And I don't grunt. I don't do anything weird. I'm very much to myself. I'm doing stuff, and then they downgraded from the hammer strength to that other crap. I won't say it because I'll get in trouble. So it's like, I'm like, you know what? Because I'm older. I've got tweaks. I mean, I'm like, I want to lift. I want to do something. Let me get on the hammer strength and boom, I want to pound it out. Where I could used to fit 645s on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm restricted to 445s on each side.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want you to, that's too much power.
But I'm like, I can do like 30 reps with that.
Yeah.
Then what? Oh my God. Like, fine, I'll go to the dumbbells. Now they only go up to 120.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a volume day.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to tout like I'm Superman or anything. I'm just saying I'm being real. So anyway, point being, cat out of the bag. I'll be helping to promote some of the niche gyms for these types of people.
Okay, so support local business.
Supporting local business.
Love it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Millennial approved. Yeah.
Right? I'm like, you know, and I'll say this is because now we've cycled through a generational thing between my generation coming up and where a lot of you guys are as far as millennials, right? The quotations. One of the things that I hated when I was younger seeing was so many of my friends and family's businesses going out because of Walmart and Home Depot and, you know, HEB even, and all these things that were just these big monsters coming in and destroying family businesses. Yeah. And not like we want to buy you out, just squashing them, suffocating them.
But that's what
big business was. Yeah. Right. And we went through that. I mean, and I get it. And a lot of policy in the, you know, mid 80s and on supported that. Yeah. And really drove that. Yeah, and exactly. I'm just like, oh, I hated that. So now I think we're in a trend coming back to that. Yeah. Especially thanks to well, I'm going to say thanks to Amazon. I don't know if I'm going to use thanks yet. Yeah. Amazon is playing a big role in that because now these big national conglomerates can't maintain these 60,000 square foot facilities with $1 million of inventory at every store and all this. They can't do that now. Yeah,
because now we can just ship it all out.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a big chain store and I'm like, any big item? Yeah. I'm like, bloop, scan. Amazon? No, it's cheaper on Amazon. Buy Amazon. Send. Oh, yeah, it's free shipping. Exactly. I don't have to get a truck or borrow a truck or do this or that.
Have them deliver or whatever it is.
It's just gonna show up. Yeah. Fabulous. Right? So I like that. That's killing a lot of the larger storefronts. Yeah. And we see that, and they're all trying to transition out, and some of the bigger stores are closing all over the place. But anyway, so I love the idea of supporting local business.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then you're starting to see now a big rise in kind of those mom and pop places coming back, especially in the food industry.
Oh, the food industry's going crazy. But I love it though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the just best.
You even go down where Viet Ho is. Yeah. Right. 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm just being observationally true, right? There was the one big Chinese food buffet on the end, right? Which is still there, but it was it. There was like one dim sum place. Yeah. There were like 2 little kind of frozen dessert places. Yeah. And this is a mega arboretum. I mean, this is a huge place. Yeah. It's a huge buildings, probably between 100 and 120 storefronts. And that was it. The rest of it was jewelry and cheap toys and insurance. And I mean, it was crap.
Just stuff that just filler stuff.
It was crap. Yeah. And crap. A couple sandwich shops, but it was crap, dude. It's all bullshit. You go now, it's like there's new restaurants in the front of the parking lot. Yeah. It's restaurants all the way through the whole thing. I mean, but it's just everything has changed about it.
And they have this bomb-ass Korean barbecue place.
Oh, Jin's?
Yeah, Jin's. I just went there the other day. Man. Oh, my God. Yeah. And then they have another Korean barbecue place across the street from Jin's that I have to go to and check out.
Don't even say across the street. It's just on the other side of it's on the other side of the parking entrance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you're coming through the entrance, you take a right and it's there, opposed to taking a left and there's Jin's.
And the one across from Jin's, look, we're giving them free, but it's the one across has actually been there for a pretty good while and haven't been because nobody talked about it.
Oh shit!
Nobody talked about it. It's got good reviews.
Okay.
It does not have bad reviews, but nobody talked about it.
I'll let you guys know.
And so I was like, nah. Yeah. Well, and then now on the flip side, the An family, which is a bigger Korean family here in Houston, one of the younger ones, which is in their 30s, had talked about Jin's. Yeah. And so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, with them, I was like, what? And they told me about it and went to the soft opening and everything of that nature. I was like, holy crap, are you serious? So it was the second day it was open, we went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, grand opening day. We had something going on.
Don't ever do that.
I don't know. But it was the next day we went, and man, I loved it. It's good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, a little upset because they don't always have the squid.
Yeah,
it's not always. Okay. Not always. Not your thing.
But squid's great. But their spicy bulgogi chicken is.
It's pretty good.
I will
it's pretty good. For it. Yeah, the pork belly is awesome.
Pork belly is amazing.
It's not in the line. You got to order it special, but
yeah,
man.
Okay, so training venues are down.
Yeah.
where would it take place?
The actual events
would
be at starting out for the first year.
Yeah.
We would be committed to, generally speaking, right now. There's no contracts.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, right now we would be committed to Lane's Places, so Studio in the Heights and Edo Fitness.
Okay.
So those would be the 2 locations for competition.
Okay, good, because those are also promotionals for them.
Yeah, and they're easy to get to.
Yeah.
They're pretty central, about
Yeah,
as central as you can get. The Edo Fitness is where George R. Brown is, across the highway.
Oh, okay.
And about 6 blocks in, it could be 7 blocks, 5, whatever. 6, 7 blocks in, or away from 59, but directly across from George R. Brown.
So 20 minutes away from everybody.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as central as you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, being realistic. And then Studio in the Heights, the Heights is relatively
right
central.
10.
It's pretty easy to get to.
Yeah.
You could sneak from 10 or from 59, even from 610 you could come through. And so, I mean, it's not that bad to get to, but the Edo Fitness would probably be the better one. I think it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
A little more space there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've already, done all the stuff as far as the upstreams and everything he needs to run everything live. And
oh, fuck.
yeah. So it's,
oh my god,
dude,
okay.
I don't know. I like it, man. I like.
That sounds amazing.
I like it.
I'm competing in this, by the way.
Right, and so people that are, if people are listening and things of that nature and interested in it, we're on the fence as far as entry fees.
Okay.
And the on the fence is because I don't know if I'm going to drug test or not, because drug testing is expensive. People don't realize that, but it's like super cheap drug test is like $100 a person. And so if you say, hey, the drug test is $100, it's $104 actually when you buy in volume. Just say $100. So your entry fee is going to be $100. People are going to be like, a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that either.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, we're going to test everybody. So, and you go, do you want people to be tested? Yeah, they need to be tested. Yes. Okay, it's going to be $100 entry fee. No, I don't want anybody tested.
Exactly.
What the hell? And the reality is with those tests, speaking from experience, as a promoter with our participants who had tested positive, it's so fucking hard to enforce anything. It's so hard to enforce it. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was a bad this, a bad that. I'm like, but we had 2 samples from 2 different days, so really 4 samples. They all tested positive as shit, dude. Like, really.
Yeah. Then
they start challenging the chain of ownership. Oh, no, see, because you took this sample. This was one of them, right?
Okay.
Legal shit for drug testing. This is how stupid it is if you don't have on-site drug testing. Oh, we took the sample on Saturday morning.
Yeah. And
you gave it to FedEx on Saturday afternoon, and it didn't arrive until Monday afternoon to the testing facility. So now we have a gap that we don't know what happened. So it could have been tainted.
Okay. Well,
we all know the reality of the ability to taint that crap.
Yeah.
You got sealed boxes. You got the special tape on it. You got all the stuff. And if it's disrupted, they have to report.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. So each sample is protected by multiple security measures. The shipping box is protected by multiple security measures. And there's multiple samples.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, guys.
But you get into the legal side of things.
Okay, well then let's do like an untested version first, and then do a tested version later.
Yeah.
Or just have 2 different for like tested and non-tested.
And that's I don't want to get into that, dude. So this is one of the testing.
Let's not test them and have some fun.
Well, but
it'll make it way more interesting.
Steroid bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not against people taking steroids for their personal stuff.
Yeah.
But in the measure of competition, no.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree.
No, you can't. That is not fair. It is not level playing field. Well, but they are. How about just nobody, damn it? You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, it's one of those. And so I go through this stuff in my head, and I'm like, and this goes back to even when we promoted bodybuilding fitness shows and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, we'll pay extra. We won't test everybody, but we'll take that pool of money and pay extra per test to have a mobile unit on site.
Okay.
So the nurse or whomever, the collector, takes the sample, goes directly to the. I mean, they've got to walk a couple hundred feet. I mean, you can't park it inside the building, right?
Yeah.
So they walk a couple hundred feet and they test the sample.
Yeah.
They start the test of the sample, right? Well, it still takes a little while to get results.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if you say, okay, we're going to test the top 5, what if 4 test positive? Do you automatically give it to 6, 7, 8, and 9?
Because they might test positive too.
Because we didn't test them.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to save money.
Yeah.
So then you get into your like, and I watched this happen on a buddy of mine who does natural shows. Is he tested the top 5, 3 tested positive, and he was like, shit. So he tested the next 3. 2 of those tested positive.
Oh, so
he's like, crap. Yeah. He's like, and he's like, fuck it. No, just there. They get it. They get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, the next 2 just get it. He was like, because those were positive. So he was like, do I test the next 2? He's like, fuck it. When you get down, if you're 10th and 11th place.
Yeah.
And you're on drugs, congratulations, dude. You snuck through.
Yeah, exactly.
That was where he got, because he was just like, all this money's going out to this testing, and people keep testing positive,
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. I get that.
And then the liabilities if you announce they tested positive. Yeah. Now it's slander.
Yeah, you've hurt them in some way.
Mother, how about you don't take any drugs?
Well, put that in the contract somewhere.
No, we did. Yeah, it was there. Still. It was there. It was there. Yeah, and our judge, not low level judge. Yeah. So a moderately level judge. Yeah. I don't understand these kinds of contracts, so I'm gonna rule with them. Are you kidding me? And literally, it was like this. It was 6 or 7. 6 or 7 things this person had to do, right? So we're going to provide all of these things for free. Yeah. Okay. The hotel and food, custom food, and your tanning and supplements and awards.
They're so
and
needy.
Promote all of this shit, all free.
Yeah. Yeah.
When do you hear that with bodybuilding competitions or fitness competitions? Nothing. Free. You got to do these 6 things, which were really like promotional. Like 4 of them were all promotional stuff.
Like obvious politics.
Right. And one was you had to show up.
Yeah, and
compete,
naturally.
Right? You had to show. And things of that nature, right? So we had one competitor that failed of those 6 things, failed to accomplish 5 of them. The only one that was accomplished was they showed to compete. So tested positive, didn't do any of the promotional stuff. Did it, the only promotional thing they did was the night before because we had everybody there and we streamed it live. Yeah. So that one they did.
Okay.
But
just because they were there anyways, yeah.
12 or 16 weeks prior that they were supposed to be doing things every week, 0.
Really?
Yeah. And the judge was like, I don't understand these types of contracts. Well, you've got to post and do these things. Did you do them? He admitted, straight up he admitted. I'm not mad at him. Yeah. No, I didn't do them. Okay, well, did you do these? No. Well, did you test positive? Well, now, and that's what a lot of argument came into. So that one was kind of like well, okay, well, did you show to compete? Yes, show to compete. Okay, well, but did you do this, and this after? And no.
What? And then, okay.
See, so even with the contract
in place, you're still fucked.
Yeah.
All right, then fuck it then. Let's just go have some fun.
So that's why I'm just kind of like...
I'll be natural,
like,
but
oh, man,
I like to see what these guys can do.
We fucking test and... Why do people have to cheat?
I don't know. Easy way to make money.
But it's just... I'm like, oh. So... If I can get drug testing sponsored, I will test the shit out of everybody. Yeah. And I mean, exactly. I may even tell anybody. I may tell anybody. Show up. Right?
By the way.
Like somewhere in small print, I'm going to be like, this is a natural competition that may be drug tested.
I love it.
And you do that, I will cover my ass legally like that.
Exactly.
You'll be able to read it. It will be the right percentage of size font. Like, well, I'm not going to be secret about it. Yeah. But I'm not going to go out blast the world about it. Yeah. Because I want to get it sponsored, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Get the testing sponsored, right? So like, come on, man. So if I can swing that and get the testing sponsored, I'm going to slam them, dude. Yeah. He's like, where'd you go? No. I'm like, well, man, We need to see.
Yeah, I need a sample from you real quick.
Well, no, man. Really, it's all good. Just a little. You see?
I love that. No, can we so do that? So everybody come and compete, and then we'll see who wins.
You know, right?
I'm competing. I can already tell you
What do you think on the idea?
I love the idea. I love functional movement is like my favorite thing on the planet. And so I just do bodybuilding and powerlifting because there's nothing else to do. And that's that. But I think that was one of the things that brought like such a fascination to strongman was having, or even rock climbing for that matter.
Yeah.
Is you get to achieve a goal, so of some random goal, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be able to pull this car. Oh, I want to be able to pick up the front of my car. Oh,
right.
I want to be able to climb this wall, whatever it is. And I love the idea of being able to achieve a realistic goal.
Yeah.
Rather than just, oh, I was able to pick up, I don't know, 600 pounds in the best situation controlled environment possible. Yeah.
You're like, oh, and it's still, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some incredible feats with powerlifting. I'm not, in no way am I knocking that.
Absolutely. There are some absolutely phenomenal people out there that can do some scary stuff.
But I will say this: there aren't many powerlifters and Olympic lifters. There are some. Don't hate. There are not many of those lifters that can do functional type things.
Yeah, no, that's right. And it's the same with bodybuilding.
Yeah,
is this because I've seen a lot with bodybuilding is a lot of the guys don't do their stretching, don't do their mobility work, don't do anything besides going in and lifting in one plane of motion, whatever the muscle is, and then that's it. And I mean, there's an athletic coach teaches or coaches baseball, who just goes over just purely range of motion, mobility, and how it affects, how that's so different, and why athletes, should do their foundational movements, their athletic lifts, but should also work on the transverse playing, rotations of your joints rather than just flexing and extending.
Yeah.
And he goes on and on about it, and this man can talk forever.
A lot of those guys can.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he's right, and it's one of those things that it's something that you just have to just train. You can't. It's not like you can go in and I'm just gonna pick this up for a while and then done, right? It is training rotator cuff. It is training rotation in your wrists and your knees and mobility in your wrists especially, and just hip range of motion, and it goes on and on and on. And to have things like that would be fantastic. I would absolutely love it.
That's what I'm saying. Is get I think it would be good.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know how it would be received. I have no idea, because I've had a lot of ideas in my life that aren't received well.
Same. I say a lot of stuff that isn't received well. So
and I'm like, I don't know. But on the flip, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like I get upset because it's things like years ago, Steph and I put together what we had called the Real Deal Obstacle Course. Mm-hmm. So we put together this obstacle course, built it custom so that it could be collapsed and transported around and do different things. And it was, the wall stuff and elevated pull-up things and doing all this. It was a lot of what you see, a lot of things you see in CrossFit, if that makes sense now. Some of the things you see in Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
And then there were some different drags and different things of that nature that would lean towards strongman. Yeah. Not those weights. Yeah. Because it wasn't, they weren't,
it
6'3",
wasn't made
300
for 400
pounds.
pound massive
Exactly.
monsters, yeah.
But we had a lot of those things, and it was all back to back, and you had to accomplish the thing all the way through in one deal. And if we did that 3 or 4 years after when we actually started doing it, it would have been successful. Yeah. A few years ahead of the game. I'm like, damn it.
To be expected, yeah.
And then for a few years, Steph and I had our weekly show, weekly live show, which I shared with you about, Real Talk and that whole deal. And that was one day a week, the whole way through. We built in 3 years from 2 or 3 viewers all the way up to over 20,000 live viewers. Yeah. Right? Fucking amazing, right? During that area too. But I'm like, it was ahead of the game. Nobody knew what to call it. Now podcasts were out, but nobody was doing live streaming. Yeah. A video. So it was just, we were a few years ahead of that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then so it was, trying to rebuild it. So I've had ideas that were right, but just too early.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too early.
Wasn't ripened yet.
Yeah. The world wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, man.
It's okay.
I know. I'll have to show you. I'll have to show you some of the
Yeah.
old episodes, man. They're hilarious.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because we know what the fuck we're doing. Just flat. We're doing. We knew what we're doing. We didn't know what we were doing because we didn't have any map. And nobody had done anything.
Yeah.
Yet. So we're just like
floating around.
yeah. Like damn it.
I love that.
I'm like yeah. I'll have to show you those later. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Huh.
Yeah. So you're in on the competition?
Oh, I'm so in.
Yeah.
I have people I'll drag in. They don't have a choice now. Yeah.
Which yeah.
Come on, I want to beat you in this. Let's go. What do you mean? It's $100 entry fee. Come on, let's go.
You're like, let's go. Well, the goal is that no entry fee is the goal.
Yeah,
the goal is to have no entry fee, but that obviously, we have to get sponsors and all that kind of bullshit. But
yeah, no,
yeah.
I've definitely got folks that, it's gonna be great.
Oh, dude, it'll be.
And then all the people who watch.
Well, if you want, is you can help film some of the pilot.
Okay.
Up to you.
Yeah.
Totally up to you. But if you want, just help film some of the pilot.
I'll do whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, because I'll probably start doing that in about a month.
Okay.
Is put the pilot together and then use that to generate support and interest and things of that nature for a while. And
wow.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Game, man.
I'm so ready. I need something new to do now.
You're like,
yeah.
Give me a list of the events. I want to win them all.
Exactly.
Like, no, we'll get there, man. We'll get there. But yeah.
What you should do is have like all the events at like whatever gym is like sponsoring venues is like have all the events that we can do, and then like so that you know what you can train. You have to train all of them, and then you pick out like in strongman, you'll pick out like 8 events.
Yeah.
That's just what you do.
Yeah. And there will be, you kind of hit on that, it will be categorized as such.
Okay.
Be it endurance or be it a conditioning or be it strength or be it, they're going to be categorized as such. Again, because I don't want 2 things back to back repeating themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just so defeative to me. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it burns out for no reason.
Right. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
So it's going to be, it'll be fun, man.
I want to compete now.
I know.
And now
I
I
know.
can get all drugged up.
It's like,
It's great.
I will test your ass special.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I got $100 for this mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Hurry. But yeah.
Fuck.
Okay, dude, I gotta have some fun, man.
All right.
So your boy, President Trump,
Yeah, buddy.
suggested he could pardon himself.
What? I heard that in passing on the news today.
Okay, so it's like 2 days old, right? But we have
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
lives, right? So we'll hammer this a little bit. So he says, I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna pull the tweet, so I'm not gonna quote
Sorry,
it.
Trump.
But he says that basically some smart people in the right positions
Yeah.
have stated that the president, he because he also is president, that generally the president does have the power to pardon themselves.
No. No, the answer is no.
Well,
You don't get to do that.
I would say
I am the judge, jury, and
this is
executioner.
the crazy thing, right? So some of the people that countered it referred to a memo that was back in the 70s during Watergate,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, they referred to a sentence but not the whole memo. When you read the whole memo,
You're like,
one of the sentences was like, no, the president cannot be the judge of themselves,
Yeah.
right? But it went on, so they took it out of context, right?
Yeah.
So this is the scary part for me, because my opinion is the president should not be able to pardon themselves.
I agree.
That goes beyond what I think is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating Trump for this right now, because it's you
Yeah,
you
this
read
is a
it,
principle thing
right.
rather than just
when you read it, he's just exposing some shit, which I think actually is going to be for the good.
Yeah.
We can adjust things, right? But when you actually read how it's all done, is that it reads like he can do it. Like he has the power to do it, because you have so many things in place that you can't prosecute a sitting president. Now, if he's being impeached,
Yeah.
he cannot do that in an impeachment.
But it has to be during an impeachment, right?
No,
So
but he
during...
can't pardon himself from being impeached.
Oh, okay. Then yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Obviously.
he could pardon himself from the criminal activities and things of that nature. And then they said if anyone felt he couldn't, or they were challenging it, and now this was from me listening to a constitutional scholar, so I'm going to take them for what they're worth, right?
Yeah.
That's their whole life is diving into the Constitution, right? And it's always debatable because we're translating shit. But this gentleman had said that if we debate the fact that the president can specifically pardon himself, he could step down for a 24-hour period. The vice president could then pardon him, and then he could reassume his role. And there's measures in place for that to occur.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't like either one of those.
Yeah.
And
neither of those
again,
sound good.
I'm going to be very clear. This has nothing to do with Trump.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he tweeted it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no president should have that. Like, no human should have that ability to free themselves.
Quite literally get away with murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like that.
This whole topic is making me very uncomfortable right now.
I'm just kind of like, hey, and you hear stuff during the election. So I'm going to go with some of the presidential powers. There's some of the things going on. You're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with one person.
Yeah.
You know, they were saying explicitly Trump.
Yeah.
But they're not comfortable with one person having their finger on the button. I'm like, well, when you really know how it works, one person doesn't have their finger on the button, right? You know, and so there's some measures in place there to do that. Now, he can give the order to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Which I kind of think somebody's got to give the order to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there's a debate on maybe there should be 3, 4, 5 people involved in giving that order.
Yeah.
That they have to unanimously agree. And I'm like, no, we're so fucking political.
Yeah,
nothing ever would happen anyway, you know?
Exactly. It's like nothing would ever get done. If we needed to push the big red button, it wouldn't get pushed.
Forget it, because one of them will be mad because they're of this party and they're of that party and all this other
Yeah,
bullshit.
exactly.
So I'm kind of like, okay, one person has to have the ability to give that authority.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying I didn't follow orders ever, but there may have been a situation or two that I had some direct orders that I knew were wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe I did something else because it was for the good of the mission, and at the end of the day, it wasn't a problem.
But I think that's what it would come down to is, if you have a decent enough chain of command, somebody in there is going to say, wait, no, this isn't right, and just either stop it or
and we have that on the Russians did that.
Yeah.
Remember, because the I don't remember what his rank was, but they had a guy that was literally one guy that was like ready to push the button because shit was coming through on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And this was years and years ago, and was like just something inside him said maybe not, and it got to that point that really it was too late to do a counter.
Mm-hmm.
It just would have annihilated the world, and then poop, the radar corrected itself.
Oh.
And it wasn't anything. It had looked as though we launched against Russia.
Yeah.
It's going through. I'm not going to get into the full story of it because there's books and movies and crap on this stuff. But he literally was like, ready to push. It's like, I don't feel right. Oh, glad I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
exactly.
literally the world would have ended.
Ooh, thank goodness for that. Yeah.
Because of an error, a technology error on our radar. Can you imagine? Like, holy shit.
I can. That sounds scary.
And that's, we've got some systems in place.
Just looking through the window and all
right. So nobody's going to sneak into a little closet and there's a bunch of red buttons on the wall and just start pushing them. And not really how that works.
I'd love to see that. Trump just sitting out in the closet, just or like it looks like a big elevator with all the buttons, and it looks like a Christmas tree with Will Ferrell. Oh, shit. That's not right. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is something that I heard. I just want to get your opinion. Do you think we should split up the presidency?
As in
that there's no single president, that we have a group, a board?
Yikes, that sounds a lot like corporate. I don't like the corporate world.
I know, but should one person have all that authority? We have decent checks and balances.
Yeah, okay.
Between the branches, right? I'm getting into your governmental checks here.
What have the other countries done? How about we have like...
Yeah, but there's no country like ours.
So... should we get a prime minister then?
What the fuck,
Just so Trump is just like a figurehead, like
because he's kind of
and
right,
and then we have a prime minister that actually does the job.
So the whole idea is to say like, I don't know the perfect way, right? Because I've heard several people bring this up, right?
Yeah.
But that basically there is a conglomerate or a group or a board or that of maybe 3 people.
Yeah.
As opposed to 1. So there's that they share the responsibilities of the presidency equally.
Yikes. I mean,
I'm trying to get the young person's
that
perspective
would fall
on
back
this.
into we wouldn't get anything done.
That's what I feel like.
But no, I don't know.
But would we or would we not? Or because here we go. We got person 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Congress hates the shit out of person 1 and 2, so we send number 3 to go talk to them all the time. The Senate hates 2 and 3, so we send number 1 to go talk to them all the time. Because they'll be able to negotiate better because it's the right type of person to deal with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that, the public likes number 2 the best. So that's the one that goes to the public the most and gives them the most of the addresses and speeches and things to the public.
And tweets the weirdest shit.
No, that's Trump, dude.
Yeah, okay.
We need to immortalize him, and he needs to be like master of all tweet. That's like his infinite title.
All right,
so
can we meme him real quick? Let's meme. So for any of the fans out there that do this, let's meme Trump, master of all tweets, and just be done with this.
Can you imagine? Dude, yes. And his assistant needs to be Joe Biden.
Oh, God, yes. God, no, please.
Come on, dude. Those two, like, they control all governmental tweets.
Exactly. This is dumb. Boom.
Yes.
Whoops, that blew up in my face.
No filters. No restrictions, no filters.
I like that.
And the option to delete is removed from their accounts.
Full commitment always.
You are 100%.
That's the way they do it anyway,
man.
So it's
fine. Yeah, that's what it is. Go.
Okay.
So I don't know, and that's I keep hearing that, and you're kind of like, well, one person's like, wasn't that what the president and vice president are supposed to do? I'm like, no, the roles are very different.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Then can we have a trial period?
Yeah, there's not gonna be a trial period.
I would love to see.
It's gonna be
if
like an all-in.
Yeah, but I don't know about committing to that because it could. I mean, I could see if all 3 presidents. That just sounds weird. If all 3 presidents, if all 3 heads of the executive branch had the common interest, right? Had this is what they want to do, then that's fine. But if we have like 1 Republican and then 2 Democrats or whatever the breakdown is, and these 3 get into a bicker.
Yeah, because that I agree.
Then we fall down to
on the back end.
Government shuts down.
I think this on the back end. I think this. There should be certain fail-safes in place in our government that says, Congress, if you don't have a balanced budget by this date, all current members of Congress are not valid for re-election. You cannot be re-elected. You don't lose your job. You finish your term out.
I like that.
But if you can't balance the budget, or if you can't have certain things that are, if this does not happen by this date, 100% of Congress is not allowed to be reelected and have term limits.
Can we have a populist vote on that? So if we get a petition,
that would wind up being a populist vote, I believe.
Because Congress is not going to pass that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to put it up to be voted on either.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to have to wind up being like grassroots on the way up type movement and take millions and millions of billions of dollars. But that would be things that would make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey,
absolutely.
Stop screwing around. Like, come on. This shit on DACA's been on the table for under different names, but since Reagan.
Yeah.
And we've gone
forever.
We've gotten nowhere. Except passing it. Pass. Oh, we'll just pass it. Nobody's getting deported. Nobody's doing anything. We'll just pass.
Yeah. Oh, pass. Table it until the next meeting, and then table it again and again and again.
Like, come on, man. Yeah. Like stuff like that,
Then yes, no, I agree with that. And then if we have the same kind of fail safes for the president, let's go ahead and get those done.
I don't know how that one. I agree, but I don't know how that one would work because there's not things like that specifically that fall onto their plate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, if Congress passed a budget, he didn't sign off on it, or certain things happened that he was obstructing, sure, you could put those fail-safes in.
Yeah.
But he didn't necessarily have those specific tasks. Like, he is not the one to balance the budget.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. But so for this whole impeachment business,
Yeah.
like find fail safes for this, and then find
Yeah.
fail safes for whatever other crazy loophole he finds, and
We need to screen our presidents.
yes,
Our
we
candidates.
do.
Our candidates. Sorry, not our president, but our candidates
You're
need to be
so
screened.
right, because I don't know how we ended up with this gentleman, but
Well, he's the first.
Here we
He's the
are.
first president. He's the first presidential candidate to run that was doing the popularity contest, right?
yeah,
He wasn't a politician. He's a great business. Very few people ever said he's going to fuck up the business world of this country.
yeah,
Okay, very, very few.
Yeah.
Some said it just because they're going to say anything.
yeah.
Just
It's a
anti.
slander name, yeah.
But all of the intelligent people of this country agree that from a business side of thing, an economic side of things, he's not going to make anything worse. Okay.
That's fair.
So that's there. All the other stuff is massively debatable, right? Because
Yeah.
you could be like, oh, his foreign policy is going to be shit. And I'm like, I agreed with that when he was elected, but now I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe he's all right.
I'm like, something's happening that I'm like, I don't know how this is going to pan out, but shit's happening that had never happened. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. But what, go back to what you're saying as far as like, impeachable offenses and all this other kind of shit. People, this is one of the biggest problems with Trump. The ones I have with Trump is he has so many little things that he's lied about.
Yeah.
And mistruth about whatever the fuck, misspoke about. I don't care what he lied about. That if there's something that was 15 million, he says 17.
Yeah.
If there's something that was 20 million, he says 25. If it's in his favor, he slides numbers to his favor. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's damaging to me because then anytime he says anything that has a number, I don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's frustrating.
Well, because, even exaggerating the truth isn't going to help anybody.
Right.
Because you don't know the truth.
And then, on one and multiple of his resorts, his golf resorts, he's got one that's got this big historical plaque about this battle that happened there during the Civil War and all that kind of. It's all bullshit. And it's proven to be all bullshit. But he won't take it down. He won't correct it. He leaves it. There's another one of them. It could be the same. I think it's a different one that he's got fake. Now, he was on the cover of Time.
Yeah.
But he's got fake covers of Time magazine with him on it, framed on the walls. And I'm like, now it is the time that it was on. Like, it is the magazine that he was on.
Yeah.
But it's not the magazine that was like he fucked with it.
Yeah, he put his own face on
So it's
another
not-
one.
So it's like a lie, but not really. Does that make sense? So it'd be like if I went and took one of the magazine covers I was on, and I just decided, okay, that's cool, but what I'm going to do is just take that off, use a different photo, and put the text in different places and all that stuff. So it's all the same,
Yeah.
but it's not because it wasn't what was published.
Yeah.
And that's
Like,
effectively
You
right.
just put your face on that guy right there.
And you're like, but you didn't. Oh, mother shit. So that frustrates me. That frustrates me like a champ.
I'd be pissed. I'm not going to lie. Can you actually? I'm going to tape your face
To Larry
to
Bird.
Larry Bird and just see
I
what
might have to
happens.
dye my hair, but
That's right,
maybe-
yeah.
but so
Okay, then let's get rid of him, and let's just have the Joint Chiefs of Staff take care of things.
I would. I mean, coming from paramilitary, I would love that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But most civilians would be like, no.
Yeah. Can we not? A little too extreme on both ends.
Right. But it's like this. So let's take what's in place right now and
Yeah.
figure out, divvy up the power.
Yeah.
So the president, take President Trump. President Trump doesn't need to be doing shit with the military.
I
He doesn't know
100%
military, he
agree
doesn't know
with
this
that.
stuff. He needs to be advised on what's going on.
Yeah.
The Joint Chiefs need to deal with that.
Yes, I
Okay.
absolutely agree.
Take that power away from him. Right?
Yeah.
The Joint Chiefs need to go to him and say, President, here's all the bullshit. We need to declare war on this person because of these, or this country because of these things. Cool. Sign this. Good. Now we got the declaration of war. We're good.
Yeah.
That's really the extent there. Economically, let Trump have it.
Yeah. No, I agree
It's
with
his
that.
specialty. He's been doing it for 40 years. He's got a lot of success.
Big businessman.
You could argue it's good or bad, but
US
it's
is
a
big
specialty.
business,
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's like me saying the constitutional scholar. There's a bunch of them, and a lot of them disagree, but he's a scholar, so fuck it, slam it. He gets that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then PR. No, Trump.
Yeah. Don't touch that phone.
No, PR.
Melania, get his phone.
But
Get
you know-
his phone.
Right? Look, like you put, I mean, Sarah Huckabee.
Yeah.
She's good at that.
Obama.
Right?
Take him, slap him in there.
Well, you know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
statesman, I'm just saying who's currently
Okay.
there. I wasn't trying to pick,
No,
plug
yeah.
it.
Just
But no, so I'm not taking past, taking what's currently in place.
Mhm. I see. Okay, and just
Pence,
have her in charge of PR.
yeah,
And then
Pence
just
is
let her do her thing.
amazing with the middle and the right.
Yeah.
Send him to go deal with all that crap too. They love him.
Okay.
Like let him go talk with those people. Let him deal with those things. So divvy up the responsibility, and I'm just using what's there. So effectively, is now the Joint Chiefs would be a person. So
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
and then Trump would be the other person, and then take whomever. I'm just saying who's already in there, right? So that's why I say that the Joint Chiefs would be a person, because there's not somebody that would be that. Some people say, oh, well, that's Mattis, but not really. I'm saying, an elected person there, not appointee, an elected person there running the military, an elected person running the economic side of our government, an elected person
I see
running.
What you're saying.
Does that make sense?
So like having the responsibilities divided up into whatever the category is, whether agriculture, economics, PR,
foreign affairs, whatever,
and
now those 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it winds up being, would have to communicate and have a general understanding and agreement on how they're moving.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately the responsibility of each one.
Each one to achieve those goals.
Yeah. Does that make a little? I think that makes a little more sense.
I like that. Nothing would get done, but I like the idea.
But I don't know, would it though? Because this is me. So it's like, okay, it would be worse than it is now. Was my first impulse when I heard this, right? Because you're just adding more people to the fire, right?
Anything's gonna get worse, but
it's pretty fucking bad. But then again, I was like, you know what? If all of those were elected and it was a mixed pot between parties.
Yeah.
Right? Not all one party. If it was all one party, obviously they'll mostly get along and something will move, and clearly, right?
Yeah.
But a mixed party, I'm like, it's going to force them to do something, because they're all going to be reelected. They're all going to have the spotlight on them individually. It's hard to put a spotlight on anybody in Congress, because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Right? Even in the Senate. Take even the smaller one of the Senate. It's really hard to single people out.
So then have like 12 people in your executive branch that take care of, these are the figureheads of these whatever industries, and then it moves down from there. So they might have their 6 people per, so their cabinet.
Yeah.
And then move down from there.
And think of it this way.
That I like.
They're elected. So think, and this is a valid question, right? Because not necessarily how I think, but questions to think on this on a political front, governmental front. Do we, or does any government truly need a single person as the sole leader or sole figurehead?
I don't think we do anymore.
I think back in the day it was important, right? Because people wanted to look to that older, wise
we
chief
needed a
or
monarch,
chiefess,
or we needed a chief, or whatever it was.
The one that had the most knowledge, that was revered, that was all these. I think that was great back in the day, in the older days. Today, I don't know that that's necessary.
No, I mean, ultimately, I don't think so. I love watching the Queen do her silly stuff, but
that's hilarious.
That's it.
That poor Queen, that poor lady, man. I would like to sit with her for if her mind is truly good.
Exactly.
I would love to sit with that woman for a few days.
Supposedly, she's a lot sharper than she seems, but
that's what I hear, man. Like her mind is on point. I hear that, but just her body's breaking down. Obviously, I mean,
a lot of fish oil. That's great.
Yeah. She got a lot of something.
But exactly.
That's what I was like. I keep sitting back. I'm like, man, how do we start correcting it? Because this is my opinion. If we continue on the path we're going, we are not going to be a country in X number of years.
Fair.
We're done. We're going to be split up. The country as we know it is not going to be it. There's going to be, does that make sense?
The South will rise again.
Seriously, I mean,
no, I know what you mean.
It's really set up that way for it to happen. If shit goes awry, that we're going to have 4, 5, 6 countries all that would be the United States. Maybe more. Yeah. Maybe less. I don't know. I mean, maybe 3. Maybe whatever.
Yeah.
It won't be as easy as like North South, all that kind of crap back in. It's not going to be like that. And I don't think there'll be a war like the Civil War ever again. Doesn't make sense in today's day and age.
Yeah, domestic disputes and things like that, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. And so I'm like, that kind of frightens me.
Yeah.
Because you hear things, you're like, well, California's a top 10 economy in the world. Well, why are they about to go bankrupt?
Says something for the rest of the world. But it says something for California and how we're functioning that.
And Texas is the same thing.
Yeah.
They're right there with them.
Yeah, exactly.
But Texas isn't going bankrupt. What's the primary differences of the two? It's government. So California is run very much like a lot of the European Union is run.
Yeah.
And Texas is run like it's always been run, a traditional conservative South.
Very, very
right,
simple.
you know?
Let's just go this one direction for the rest of time.
Right? It's just,
Cool.
it's steadfast. And like, people come in and like, hey, let's change it. Here's some change. Go get you a Coke. See you later.
Exactly.
Like, it's really like that quick.
Exactly.
And we're done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't like change. We don't play with it too well.
Yeah. We're still the biggest in everything and the best in everything, and we're not changing that.
Yeah, we're good at it.
Yeah,
You know
you're absolutely right.
But so you take two similar economic powers in our country that are on the top 10 scale of global, right? So there's many, many, many countries of this world that do not have the economy of these two individual states by themselves.
Yeah.
And then look at how they're run and look at, does that make sense? Look at what they're doing and how they're managing and things of that nature. The country appears to be trending towards being more like California as a whole.
Appears to be trending, yeah.
Right, as a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it was small pockets of California. Now it's almost the whole state.
Yeah.
Right, the lower 2/3 of the state are that way.
It's moving to Oregon, Washington, and all this.
It's trickling up. Then the East Coast, it was down just Miami, and then now it's starting to almost the whole state. And Atlanta's expanding and being a little bit more that direction. New York, obviously. So you get that it's starting to grow.
Yeah.
It's not in Texas.
Yeah.
You know.
We have pockets in some of the high cities, and that's it. And we're okay with that because we'll just toss some change.
Yeah, they're pockets. They're liberal, but they're not the far left.
Yeah, no.
You know, but they're certainly liberal, which I like that. We need a little more balance in our state.
And that I agree with. Is do having diverse company. And so I had one of my old climbing students, dropped out of school, ran off to California to go study music and become a musician and all of this and pursue rock climbing. And I asked him, I was like, when he got there, and it's because he came back recently. And I said, so are you on like the same like high liberal end as like the guys in California? Oh no, I'm super conservative. It was like compared to like these guys.
Compared to
like,
them, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So I just wanted to see like if there was a difference between like what we consider a liberal here, because in my perspective, he's like super liberal, and then like what we consider liberal, like in other places.
Very different.
Yes, very different.
Very different.
Amazingly
extremely.
Different,
for the most, there's always far extremes, right?
Yeah.
But the group or the bulk of extreme left or liberals here in the Houston area. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the country are middle or middle right.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense? Or as far as like even California, they'd...
Yeah, but that's exactly right.
They'd be accepted maybe because maybe they're gay or maybe they're... does that make sense?
They've got their little one-up card.
Right. There's one thing about them that kind of makes it okay for them to be closer to the middle type situation. But for the most part, yeah, dude, they're... Yeah.
Yeah, and so I noticed that. So maybe there is something to be said about tradition. But, I mean, then on the same end, there's social progress. So maybe there should be divisions between, or maybe we should have a lot more traditionalists and then a lot of, social progressive.
What's social progress, man? Because
we're talking like race and gender and all this.
So think of it like this. So, okay, obviously, let's take race. Let's take slavery, right?
Yeah.
So pre-slavery, which really wasn't pre-slavery because all the Indians were enslaved.
Yeah.
So let's go to back then, right? Europeans fucked it all up, and all the Indians got sick and died off.
Yeah.
And they were slaughtered too, and they were this, and they were shoved off, and all good. So they ran out of Indians, so they went and got all the Africans, effectively, right? I mean, let's be real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Because they were, from what they dealt with, is the Africans that they were stealing and buying and trading for over there could endure a lot more than what the Indians could here.
Yeah.
They were, physically superior. They could deal with the fucking bullshit cage, shipments across the whole ocean. And anyways, ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But then they lived and they were strong and they thrived, and all this kind of nonsense, right? So that whatever, the idiot Europeans went to the resource that was stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. Civil War happened, which really was to stop slavery in essence. I mean, people debate that, but really when you break it down, it was all about slavery.
Yeah.
Then all the, the movements, everything through the 60s and MLK Jr. and all those types of deals happened and all this stuff. our laws today, if you really look at the laws, I'm not talking about public perception or I think this or I feel this.
Yeah.
That's ultimately that's bullshit what we're saying here. The actual laws on the books from local level all the way through federal level are slated for the minority. Affirmative actions, equal opportunity means a lot of times means you're forced to hire someone because of race, religion, all that kind of nonsense, right? Over someone who's most qualified. So you're bypassing someone potentially, not always, potentially. That's what I said, the law on the book, not perception. So if you've got this non-minority here and a minority here, right? The non-minority has a value of 95 to you. The minority has a value of 90 to you.
Yeah.
You would want to hire the value of 95.
Yeah. But
you haven't met quota. 95 goes away, you hire the guy 90.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
So the laws are slated for the minority. Are you following me?
Yeah.
And people lose their mind, but they also forget what I'm 50% of.
Fair.
Looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Okay. Then.
So I think we have progressed about as far as you can from a legal standpoint socially. I think if you force more, you're going to get kickback.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why Trump's in office.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Is the push was getting a little bit too far.
Yeah.
That's my opinion from observing what was going on and things of that nature. So when you say like, well, social progression, yes, we need social progression, but what does that mean?
So if we've gotten to that point, well, it's time to move on to the next thing.
True equality.
We'll work our best to it. So.
Because if you go true equality, then affirmative action doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then that gets pulled out.
Equal opportunity doesn't exist because you're hiring on equality anyway.
Yeah.
Right? In theory.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm not saying remove laws to protect people from those things because you're always going to need that because you're always going to have idiots. You're going to have assholes that are going to, you know, whatever. Does that make sense?
They're born every day, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But it's on equal opportunity laws and affirmative action laws and things of that nature, it's often stated that you need to hire a minimum of X percentage of minorities.
Yeah.
There's never a max.
Yeah.
So think about that. You have to have a minimum, but you don't have to. There's no cap. Which means, effectively, if you want to discriminate against the majority, you're legally protected to discriminate against the majority. Do you think the majority is going to pick up on that discrimination?
Yes, very quickly.
Yes.
So
then what's going to happen?
The
majority is going to squeeze back.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that's just the reality of human nature, the reality of life, and all of that.
But
right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So if you push and push and push, social progression is going to be the majority is going to be like, yeah, we're all here, we're all a part of this. Let's do this. Let's walk. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
But then when you start to impede too far, you press too far and expand beyond what is noticeable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get pushback, and I think that's what happened with Trump. There's popularity contest, and Hillary was an idiot, and all this other kind of stuff. But there were other factors. But I think if there wasn't such a massive social pushback,
yeah,
or such a perception of being pushed, you know, that the majority is being pushed so hard, I don't think Trump would have had a chance. I think Cruz would have been the nominee.
Probably, yeah. Well, no, then that I agree with. So if we're at the point where we can find that balance between true equality, well, then that's the way to move. So now we have to figure out where we're at.
But how's the minority community going to feel when you say we're going to take away affirmative action?
Well, I can tell you now it's not always going to be that law. It shouldn't always be that law. Eventually, we need to get to that point where it's just in our heads that everybody's on the same playing field. And then we can try to get everybody to the same playing field.
Here's a crazy question for you.
Okay.
How can equal opportunity laws and affirmative action coexist?
How can equal opportunity laws and affirmative action coexist? So not on a federal level, but on a state level or a local level, having places that are predominantly racist or biased towards some laws or some people, some social group, whatever it is, affirmative action. Some places that have progressed past that.
No, but coexist, same time.
As in the same areas, in the same place,
Yeah,
or
so
in the same situations.
Whatever, just for story purposes, company ABC, how can you enforce equal opportunity laws and affirmative action at the same time? Because my answer is you can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that make sense? So for me, as I'm saying, well, you can't, because if you say you have to hire X percentage of this minority or this minority or this minority,
yeah,
well, then it's not equal. You're not giving equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
equal
exactly.
opportunity would be maybe you have to interview these number of people, but you still take the best for your company.
Which is true. Which I would like.
Like I'm all for, like, to me, equality is nonsense. That's why I always go to it.
Yeah.
There can be equality of opportunity there, but it cannot be equality of outcome.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's true.
And so that's where a lot of this goes, and that's, you know.
Then yeah, I guess that would be the answer then, is give equal opportunity, right? So
Yeah.
affirmative action towards opportunity, but equal opportunity towards, performance and outcome.
Right.
Right? That makes sense.
So that I'm cool with saying that if company ABC is going to hire for these 10 positions, they are required by law to interview at least X number of these classifications of minority.
Yeah.
I'm not saying hire. They're required to interview.
Yeah,
a
but
lot
to
of the
give
argument,
a chance would be the first thing.
The argument to that's going to be like, well, they'll just interview them and then they'll hire who they want to hire. It's possible.
But then you're also taking the chance that that person, or whoever that minority is far better qualified than whoever the majority was.
Right.
And which is true. And if we're looking from a business standpoint, I'm always taking the person who has better performance.
That's me.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's.
But I'm half, you're half, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, we're a different situation, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like if the lowest minority on the planet, I believe, is the Native American Indians.
Probably.
So if 100 of them came to me and I was hiring for 100 positions and 1,000 other people came to me, but those 100 Indians were the best,
yeah.
Guess who the fuck I'm hiring?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because I want to win. I want
that's right.
extra money in my pocket. Like, can we get to that? Like, come on, man. Like,
no, I absolutely agree with that.
And if collectively, if all 100 of them have 7 teeth between all of them, I don't give a shit. Because if I'm going to win, I win. And then they win. And then we can get them some veneers.
Exactly. And then
or implants or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then we're good. We're all crunching on apples 6 months into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's, right? So that's kind of my whole thing is that, I always hear these things like, oh, well, we need more equal opportunity. And yes, equal opportunity is true. But we have to enforce our, if there's affirmative action.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, holy shit. How do those two coexist? Because they can't.
I think we just proved they can. But it's just not to normal perspective. Yeah.
Right. You have to adjust what affirmative action is. Because affirmative action is more of you have to hire.
Yeah. Not by the quota-based, hiring point, but much rather by giving the opportunity.
Yeah. Quota-based opportunity, not quota-based outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make you think as a 20-year-old. Well, 22-year-old, but, in your 20s.
All right. So I have a friend who wants to be a senator, so I'm going to go talk to him real quick and, hey, fix this. I need this adjusted now. Like, dude, what are you talking about? This is Texas. We're not doing this. Oh, yeah. No
are you serious? Does he really he wants to be a senator?
Yeah, no. Or maybe it's a congressman. One of the two.
Well, he wants to get into government.
Yeah.
Yeah. State level or federal?
I think eventually he wants federal.
Yeah.
But definitely, he's starting like very bottom end and where he's doing some internship for one of the congressmen. And he's
dude, we got to bring him on.
With it too.
We got to bring him on and make him think.
Are you sure?
Dude, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bad idea. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to message him and he's going to think you're fucking crazy.
No, it's awesome because if he's like the potential future of things, okay, well, here's real stuff you're going to be dealing with.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Yeah. Because what you deal with in a congressional office and helping a campaign, it's not reality.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Scary.
Like you don't really get what's going on.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You get a kind of hints of it and you get whiffs of, oh, well, there's cinnamon around that door and there's some vanilla over there, but you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying.
Is it the spice? Is it a cake? Is it a drink? Is it a what is? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is,
Could
you
be
just know there's
anything.
something.
You're
Yeah.
walking into something crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it'd be fun, man. Yeah.
I think he would like that. I think he would actually love that.
No, I'm serious. It was like, and it makes good, for good conversation.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
I don't even care if he's right, left, middle, up. Fucking, it doesn't matter.
I don't even know what he is. I think he's
that's what I'm
some,
saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, that's up next.
Yeah.
Then.
We'll do it. It'll be good.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
he's in San Antonio right now. So
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying like.
to run back. No, not like next
Yeah,
time in, but
yeah.
we'll make a date and figure it out.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh
Yeah. So, dude, we're up, man.
All right.
That still went quick. So quick. And we had some glitches, I think. Worst case scenario, I will, because the recording's always fine,
Yeah.
but the stream may be goofed. So, worst case scenario, I'll just block that one, the video that was streamed inadequately, and just re-upload a fresh one. You lose a little bit of stats, but it's really not that bad. Yeah, because then later people...
Exactly.
I can't watch this shit because it's glitchy. Fix your stream, asshole. Like, that's stuff I get.
Then okay,
Like,
fixed.
You'd be shocked. One day we're gonna do that. Is we're gonna have, you know how they read mean tweets?
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna.
Yes.
It won't be tweets, but we're gonna
I've always wanted to do
read
that.
the hate email. So I'll print a bunch off, but I'll have to redact like names and things of that nature so we don't screw up. Because I'll get reading and it's oh my lord.
God, please.
Yeah.
Can I read Jason's? I want to sit with Jason. He'll read mine, and I'll read his.
I'll be honest with you. Most of the hate comes to me.
Oh.
Jason got a pretty good amount during the gun debate.
Okay, good.
Yeah, during the gun debate. But I personally get most of the hate.
All right, I need as much hate mail as I can so I can find the best of the best.
That'll be
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously, like as soon as I get some time, I'll print some off and.
Oh God,
we'll do
yes.
that. It'll be full. We'll take like 10 of them or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
I don't know,
Just read them at the beginning or the end just to get things moving. And this is what I think of you. You. Yeah.
We'll do the unedited version on YouTube, and I'll have to edit it for all the other ones. There's a lot of editing, Jordan.
Is
There's
there
a
really?
lot of editing. Lots of beeps.
Whoops.
A lot of beeps. We'll have to make a funny word to say in place of all the bad words. And we'll,
it's like a profanity safe word.
Yeah. Is it pickle?
Pickle. Please.
Right? This is pickle. We'll do that. We'll be like
pineapples.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. Well, thank you everybody. That was good today. We had fun. Questions, hate mail, shoot it to us.
Please.
Love
I
it.
need it.
Awesome. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time.